Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I am excited to try going live again. This is the second time that I've done this. The first time didn't work out so well. The internet connection wasn't stable. But, anyways, I'm wanted to be available again to give this a shot. So what it is I'm here and opening space to be available to connect more. It's an opportunity for people to ask questions, whether it's about galactic astrology, human design, or intuitive guidance on just if you want to, someone to say, you just want to say, hey, I'm going through a hard time. Whatever it is, I'm just looking to connect more. So when I do these, and I'm going to keep trying a few of them and see how it goes, but basically it's open to whatever. So I invite you to just kind of participate with me, to join in with me, and maybe ask me a question. I like to talk. So yeah, I'm I'm gonna just feed off of what comes through the chat. So if you have a question, that will be where you place this, anything you wanted to know. So yeah, I am just looking to have more opportunities, I think, in life where I'm available. I think that it's especially been on my mind lately how disconnected we are and how the world is a little crazy right now. And everything that I've heard or has been shared with me from my guides talks a lot about how important connection is, and that that's not going to be anything that goes away anytime soon. As the world changes, we're going to need to kind of come together and kind of get back to some of, I think, the basics of, how to engage again and talk more, be vulnerable and open. So I'm hoping others will join me equally and be open as well. So I guess I can, in the spirit of vulnerability, share one of the things over the last couple weeks that's changed for me. And that is that I have decided to relaunch my wedding floral design business. This is something that I used to have up and running for over 10 years. And when I had my spiritual awakening, I kind of stepped away for a bit, and, I was doing freelance floral work. But my point is one of the things I realized is that there's many aspects of myself. And while I love trance channeling, while I love giving guidance, while I love astrology and all the things, that I do, it's not all of me. And there are so many other aspects. Like, I also like theater. I've performed as Annelle in Steel Magnolia, and I enjoy singing. And I also am a floral designer, and I enjoy working with florals. And it's this realization that there's space in life for all aspects. I shared a short today that talks about how I've realized that there's not just one purpose, there's not just one thing that we're meant to do, that it's being and embodying the full essence of every piece that we are. And that's kind of where the magic happens, because when we honor all aspects of ourselves, then we can feel more fulfilled and balanced. And so a lot of my passion in what I offer spiritually is ways for people to come to understand their fullness. And yes, galactic astrology can do that. Astrology can do that. Human design can do that. It can help you understand and appreciate all aspects of who you are. So, yeah, that's kind of been what I've been navigating, a piece of it at least. Just learning how to be in this, I guess I'm going to say new world, because I feel like we are there. It's unfolding right now. A lot of people I've talked to are going through very challenging circumstances. And I think it's because we're all being encouraged to notice how we're living, what we're doing, how we're spending our energy. We're all being invited to look at the stories that we're telling ourselves when challenges come up, whether it be finance or wondering what a purpose is, or a relationship or family. There's things that are coming up that are stretching us and inviting us to understand ourselves better and understand our beliefs, what our beliefs are. I know I've found many different beliefs that I've had that weren't exactly serving me well with where I wanted to go. And I think that that's, important to look at and reflect on. So, yeah, this eclipse season recently has been fun. So if you're watching the replay of this, I'd be interested to hear how you fared with the recent eclipses, if anything significant has been activated or changing in your own life. If you're watching and you're not really sure what I'm referring to, so in astrology, whenever we have an eclipse, it's kind of like a destiny point. It's a point of focus or highlight to certain areas in our life. And depending on where that is in your, natal chart, your astrology chart, will highlight an area. For example, recently, the last eclipse was in Virgo. And so for me, this was in my 12th house. So there was a lot of deep inner reflection, as that is a theme that can be often connected with the 12th house. It's not exactly one of the easiest houses in astrology, along with the 8th house, which is ruled by Pluto. So any 8th house theme is going to have death, rebirth, transformation. It's also mutual finances and, connections, stuff like that, sexuality, but that Pluto energy, personal power. So, yeah. Awesome. Oh, I have a question. Yay. Can you explain the human design concept? Recently, I've been hearing this terminology a lot. Absolutely. Thank you for watching and asking. So, briefly, in human design, I'll kind of give you a general definition of what it is, and then I'll kind of talk a little bit about what's important. So, in general, what human design is it's basically a they take a whole lot of other modalities like the I Ching, astrology, the Kabbalah, along with quantum concepts, and they kind of mix them all together and formulate this chart system that helps you be able to understand you. I love it because I look at anything like human design or astrology as your personal blueprint. So anything that's using your birth information is your personal blueprint that you can kind of look and reflect on. So I'd be curious to know, have you explored what your your personal energy type is in human design? I'm going to type it in the chat, or if you can hear me, respond. So if you let me know what your energy type is, I can definitely kind of give you more information on that. I would say your energy type in human design is one of the great places to start because it helps you kind of understand the core essence of who you are and how you kind of function and operate in the world. And there's 5 different energy types. For example, I'll talk a little bit about mine while I'm waiting for your response. So, oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Yes, it's based on your birthday. So you can even just Google human design chart. I think there's one of the well-known human design readers is Zoe, myhumandesign.com, I think. You can put in your information there. But yeah, you're going to need your date of birth, location, and time of birth to put in there. Now, what I find is really kind of awesome about human design, that's where I started more or less. And it was a very practical, easy to digest tool that probably was my biggest initial breakthroughs. So one of the things, going back to energy types, and feel free if you want to Google it and come back and type into the chat what your energy type is, and I'll talk about it. I think there's another site, My Body Graph, I think it might be, is from Ra, who is the actual founder of human design. But you should be able to pull up a free chart fairly easy. There's a lot of different resources out there for that. But in general, one of the things that was very pivotal for me is in my life, I've always had multiple different interests, which I kind of talked a little bit about in the beginning of this video. And this was something that I always judged myself for. I always felt like, oh, I should have this like straight path forward and be fixated on this one direction. And in human design, I realized I'm called what's called a manifesting generator. And this is my energy type. And what this means is essentially how I operate in the world. And my natural core essence is I'm meant to follow what lights me up. And actually, I am meant to jump around, and that's okay. So I might be interested in this, and then I'm interested in that, and there's various things. And people would say to me, oh, Cassandra, I thought you were teaching cake decorating, but now you're doing, florals. And, it would be all of these little things. And what was freeing about it is I realized that that's entirely okay because that's how I'm designed to be. And one of the aspects of a manifesting generator is ultimately it all comes together, and often helps you in different areas unrelated. So, like, I did cake decorating, I did planning, I did photography, I did florals. Well, that means I know a whole lot about the wedding industry, so it wasn't for naught. It all came together and made sense. The other thing with that is that I realized that sometimes I move very quickly, and it can be both pretty much physically. I can have a lot of energy when I'm doing something I really enjoy, and not everybody can keep up with that well. And so, like, for example, if you're a projector, you have a little more reserved energy. You're not meant to have like crazy hours, or you're meant to honor more of where your energy level is. So I think that was one of the first things that was really impactful for me in realizing my human design. It covers so much more about different things about how you are perceived, how you work with others, how you make decisions. All of it is a lot of really helpful information. I think my favorite thing to this day about human design, though, is the gates. So that's one of my favorite things, and that's connected to the I Ching. And the I Ching is an ancient Chinese modality that essentially is 64 hexagrams that represent various journeys of the consciousness evolution of a human. And so they influence different aspects of ourselves. And not only in your human design chart, they're very important, but also even collectively, because wherever the sun is, whatever is being activated, there is a collective theme of that energy that everybody experiences. So, I'm just going to type this question. Awesome. Very cool. Well, that was a good question. I'm definitely eager to see if you pull your chart and what your energy type is. So definitely mention it in the chat if you pull it up for and let me know. So yeah. And I think another thing is why I use a lot of human design and astrology. And that's actually one of my favorite things, is weaving different things together, is that it adds a richness and depth to the story. It adds so much more to understanding our soul's journey and our expression, and how we show up and what we share. I think what I might do, let me see. Can you? Oh, wait, darn. I guess you can't share screen. Bummer. I am not tech savvy here. I was going to share a screen with you, or maybe you can, and I just don't know how to do it. And that's okay. So, anyways, I'll share another aspect of my human design chart, okay, which is my Pluto placement. So I talked a little bit about the gates. So Pluto in my astrology chart is pretty significant because it's almost on my ascendant. It's conjunct my ascendant, very close. And so it is a very strong aspect of me, of how people experience different things with as far as my clients. They like transformation is a big thing. A lot of transformation, I could say. Also, it's funny because I realized when you're looking at astrology, you can also see kind of like the different astrology lines placed around the globe. And I also live on what's called my Pluto line. And so that is, I guess, I've heard a lot of people say very challenging aspect. You don't want to live on your Pluto line because there'll be a lot of transformation and things that kind of come and go in your life. But for me, I think I've realized that there's just kind of a depth of, I'm always exploring the subconscious depths. I'm always going deeper. I'm, always talking about the challenging thing that wants to be seen. So when we're talking about human design and we're talking about these gates, we can add an additional layer, like I said. So I have Pluto, first house Libra. Okay, that's great. So not only did I talk a little bit about what Pluto is, but, we can look at Libra, what Libra is. And yes, there's a lot of relationship themes like that, but there's also a big theme of balance. That is also important. And also, the first house is also how you're perceived a lot by others as well. And so in human design, this particular gate, as I talked about from the I Ching, is 57. And 57 just happens to be all about intuition. And so in my journey, a big lesson or journey has been in transformation and learning to trust in, to listen to even acknowledge that there is such a thing as intuition. It was not something that I was immediately pulled into, drawn into, or believed in. I knew nothing about it. And so when we look at Pluto being a theme of personal power, and of transformation, when we add this additional layer of gate 57, that is in learning to trust the intuition, clarity, understanding that this is a part of who you are, first house for me, in that aspect, it's important. And in looking and combining both the astrology and the human design, you can see there that not only am I going to have those, transformations in my life, but a lot of times the themes of the transformation are going to be around the topic of intuition. And that's where the layer of the human design gates is really fascinating. So, yeah. And if you're just joining in or listening to me now, I'm inviting anyone who has a question for me about anything, please include it in the chat, and I will kind of keep an eye there and answer your questions. Don't be shy. Even if you just say hello or you want to say, hey, I'm going through a hard time, I'm going through a great time, or if you just want to share, hey, I'm a whatever your zodiac is. The reason I'm doing this, as I said in the beginning, is for connection. I'm like vulnerably showing up and hoping that others vulnerably show up with me. So it's a great time to receive intuitive guidance. I can connect to your energy if you just want guidance, or if you want to ask me questions about your chart, about galactic astrology, about human design, or share a thought, whatever it is. That is the reason I am doing this. And I'm going to keep showing up and see what engagement. Oh, thank you. Did you find out your energy type? Were you able to pull your chart? I appreciate the encouragement. Thank you so much. I received that. Yeah. I'll type in. Okay, so I think that maybe what I might do, because I am determined to hang out here for a bit longer, I think what I might do is, if I don't get any other questions, no, I couldn't pull the chart. Okay. Let me look it up really quick. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find the human design chart. Give me just a second. Okay, this is a good. I think this one should work for you. I'm gonna see. All right, try this out. Try this one out. I put the link in the chat. So try pulling it there. That one, you should be able to pull a free chart there for yourself. You might have to include your email or something, but yeah, try that out. And while you're doing that, what I might do is, if I don't have anybody else asking any questions, what I might do is I might actually tune in to my guides and channel a message to see whatever energy wants to come through for a collective message. That's the one I tried, but it didn't see a free option. Okay, all right, let me try this one. Thank you for letting me know. My human design.com. Let me see. I think that's okay. All right, here's another one. I'm going to give you, try this one. Try that one and let me know if that works. Because you should be able to at least, I know that you can pay for additional features, but that should at least give you your energy type, which I would love to give you information at least on that, that you can kind of take with you and explore. So, okay. While you're looking up that, I do think I am going to kind of take a moment to just kind of connect and see if any messages in particular come up collectively for anybody that is watching the replay or present. I'm just going to kind of ground into my body. I'm calling in guides of highest vibrational quality, love and light, Archangel Michael. Ask if there's any messages or any high vibrational frequencies that wish to come through for guidance, for collective, for those watching. What I'm hearing instantly is be patient. Be patient with your circumstances right now. Be patient with the energies around you. It can be easy to get caught up in what is externally going on, or another's opinion, or a challenge. It can be easy to become ungrounded or frustrated or wish things were different. I feel like if you're watching this, one of the things that's coming through is to be patient. That there's a lot of energy right now. There's a lot of things stirring. Do not, also, I'm hearing, do not get distracted. When they say do not get distracted, what I'm feeling, and I'm asking, the energy I'm feeling feels very angelic. Yes. Do not be distracted, meaning there's a lot, there is too much one person can absorb, digest, balance, process all at once right now. And it is not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility to do that. It is not your responsibility to absorb, to process, to be there for everyone, to to assist everyone. There's an importance in being mindful of how you're showing up, what you're sharing. Oh, okay, awesome. Just a moment here. If you can hear me, type your energy type, right? Put your energy type in the chat, and I'll talk about it. Okay, all right. Let me have 1 second to finish this message up. That's the same as mine that I was talking about, which is interesting. But yes, I feel like the collective message I'm getting is there is a lot going on right now. Do not be distracted in the sense of do not try to fixate on everything all at once. Be mindful that the areas you focus your energy are what wants your attention, and what you want to experience. That is where your energy, your focus is best to be placed. Okay. Hi, thanks for joining. We have two questions here. One is the eclipse window, and then I'm going to talk about what a manifesting generator is. Real quick though, the eclipse window, usually they say is about 6 months. So because it is kind of a pretty big destiny point, and I talked about that earlier in the video. Whenever there's eclipse energy, it is putting things in motion to put you back on course. So usually they say about 6 months. A lot of people go. I personally find for myself, it's the most potent 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after is usually when most of the big shifts would happen. That for me is just my experience, but as in astrology, usually they say 6 months. Okay, so the question also we had, and is it Karen or Kyron? I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Please forgive me. So you're asking about manifesting generator. So that is what I was sharing. Which was fun that kind of came through, and that it's the same. So this is a fair percentage of the population are manifesting generators. So what this means for you is that you are not meant to have a completely linear path. Like, don't attach judgment to where you feel drawn to. If you feel like you're focusing on one area of your life and you think, okay, yeah, that's great. And then now all of a sudden you have this new hobby or interest or thing you want to learn about or pursue. Allow yourself allow yourself to have those moments, because you might not know now what the relevance importance is of it, but it is very relevant. It is very much an energy that when you are following what you're led to, feeling lit up by, when you are pursuing those things and not doing things because I should, I need to, I would, I have to, I'm obligated. When you are just allowing your energy to guide you and trusting in that universal force, a lot of times when you do, your aura, because human design is reading your aura, is large, it's magnetic. And then the amazing thing about that is then when people are in your presence and you're just doing your thing and you're completely lit up, they experience the power of that energy. It inspires them. It increases their vibrational frequency. You could look at this as you are an anchor of this high frequency energy when you are honoring yourself and your energy. All right, let me look really quick. Okay, that that worked. Magnificent Joe. Yeah. So yes, you want to allow yourself to kind of honor that aspect of yourself. And when you do, then you will have a lot of energy. When you are doing things that aren't lighting you up, you'll most likely feel drained, or you won't have as much energy in that sense. Remember that I'm a manifester. Okay, yeah, as far as manifester, that's a different energy type. Um, uh, if you're listening, write in the chat if you want me to talk a little bit about the difference between the manifester and the manifesting generator. So actually, no. So the question is, I imagine it's like astrology, and you would need to know a million other aspects to make sense. Actually, not. So it's fun because human design is very much, yes, there are complicated layers, but it's actually something that you can focus on a few areas and get a lot of helpful information. Okay, does the manifestor need someone else to actually produce anything? So the whether you are in I like to look at the manifesting generator and the manifester in the sense of, well, any energy type. It's important to understand when we're using the word manifestation, it's not intended to be taken so literally that, oh, I'm a manifester or a manifesting generator, so I manifest quickly, versus a projector, which, that does not mean that they don't. It just means how your energy operates in the world. If you are a manifester, that is only about 9% of the population. So the key is in the manifestor's energy, not the manifesting generator. The manifesting generator has some of the aspects, but they're two different energy types. So if you're just a manifester, essentially it means you're probably going to be someone that really has a clear head of what you want to do. And once you set your mind to it, you probably are quick to act on it. In the sense of, it's not something that like you need permission from anybody. You probably have the attitude in life that it's like, once you set your mind, you're like, okay, I'm going this way. You can either come with me or not, but either way, I've made my decision and I'm going. And one of the important aspects for both manifester and manifesting generator is that when you do set your mind to something and you do come up with that conclusion, that it's helpful to let others that may be influenced by your decision know. So, because you can be quick once you've made your mind up, it is important to say, if there was anybody that is influenced by your decision, to let them know. For example, if you had a job and you might wake up and be like, I actually don't want to work here. This is not good for me. And you can have that instant, clear reads on things. You might be like, okay, no, this is not for me. I'm done. Well, you could just quit, but then there might be like a trail left behind you if you don't let your employer know. So it's like, hey, by the way, I'm not staying, and then whether you leave your 2 weeks notice or you don't, but you at least let them know. You just want to kind of let people know that are involved in the decisions in some way, that you've made the decision, not because you're asking permission per se, but because you're communicating and honoring the connection by discussing or sharing, stating. Discussing is the wrong word. I'd say stating. So in our past history, you could say a lot of the world leaders, the people that, the warriors, the people were like, no, I'm not following the crowd. I'm going my own way. And they have the go power to make change. Those would be manifestors. Now, for the manifesting generator, it has a little more of that sacral energy because the sacral is defined. So the manifestor tends to have quick bursts of energy, and then they might level off, where the manifesting generator has more dependable sacral energy. So if you are a manifesting generator, you have a lot of energy of all the 5 different energy types, as long as you're honoring, following what lights you up and pursuing the things that you're feeling drawn or called to. And as a manifesting generator, the other piece I can say is, because we are quick, sometimes we might have to go back and fix mistakes, or learn and say, oh, okay, I quickly jumped on, reorganizing that room, but now I don't love where that is. It felt right in the moment, but now it doesn't. And you might have to go back and reshift things, which is okay, but the beauty is I think that in life we have to have, that go power. There has to be people in the collective that says, yes, let's do the thing. Let's explore that. Let's go there. And so the manifesting generator, is very quick. There you have access to a lot of energy. So hopefully that is helpful for the questions that were coming up regarding human design and your energy type. I would say the next important thing in human design you would want to look at is your strategy and authority. So your authority especially is really important. So there's different types of authority. For example, I'm emotional authority, which means in my human design chart, my solar plexus is defined. So how I make decisions, because your authority is connected to how you can best utilize your energy and knowing what is a yes, what's a no, how should I proceed, make decisions. It's not in the mind, but rather there's different unique energy types. For me, I'm an emotional authority, which means that My energy often operates in emotional waves. And the best time for me to make decisions is to wait till I am neutral and not like high or low, because then I might commit to things or turn things down in the moment, that once I balance, then I realize, oh, bummer, I would have liked to experience that. Or, oh, why did I commit to that? I really don't want to do that. So that's one of the, I think there's 7 in total, authorities. So yeah, if you're listening and that is a question, include it in the chat. So yeah, those are some fun conversations. I haven't talked about those aspects of human design in a while. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming and sharing. So yeah, I would say no, you don't actually need someone else to produce anything. I think that that's something in general, though. I think that none of us do. None of the energy types. I think we have to also understand and honor that we are on kind of like our own path. Not to mean that we can't collaborate or co-create, but if we're talking in a very specific, what's the word I'm looking for? Like in a very specific way of doing things with or without, I think that that's not necessarily the case for any of the energy types. So hopefully that's helpful. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble. Oh my goodness. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, awesome. Okay. So yeah, I feel like we've talked about the eclipse window. We've talked about these 2 energy types. All right, so I'm going to give one more opportunity to see if there's any other questions before I close out. We've talked about some good stuff, I feel like, today. Not a lot of galactic astrology stuff came up in the questions. I was surprised when I did a poll. I had a lot of people respond that that they were interested in galactic astrology. I love it all, but yeah, awesome. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I hope that what has come through with the collective message, with what I vulnerably shared in the beginning, I hope that there was things in here that kind of inspired or were useful or helpful. And I do appreciate those that engage with me. I am going to do this again because I am very passionate towards connecting. And if you guys want to know some fun information about me and why that's important, we talked a lot about human design tonight. So in human design, my profile is a 4-6, which basically that says that it is also important for me to engage with others, that connections are important. And not only are they important, but that my energy isn't really designed to cold call, and it's actually meant to connect with people that kind of come into my realm, and there's sort of this meaningful essence to the connections that I have, and community is important. And then from an astrology perspective, my Jupiter, my Saturn, my North Node, and my Mars are all in the 11th house, which is community and connection. So there is a lot of energy guiding to value, to connect, to come together in the community and to share within the community. So for those who may not know, in astrology there are 12 houses, and each one, we have those energies in all of us, and the 11th house is very much about community and the collective. So yeah. Okay, I found my chart. Okay, awesome. Okay, all right. So I will answer this question here before we close out. So the question is related to the right angle cross the surface. Now, there is a book that has kind of like a summary of the different profiles, but if I'm being honest, when I did my human design readings, what I found best is the best way to summarize this or bring this together is to understand the energy of each one of these gates. So the 52, the 58, the 17, and the 18. So if you're still with me, I'll kind of go through briefly some of these things. So the energy of the 52, this is the Buddha gate, essentially. This is coming in the root center. Okay, awesome. Yay, still here. This is coming from the root center. So this says to me that when challenging circumstances arise, that the 52 is able to navigate challenges with a clear head. So your energy may be able to think clearly in chaos when you are most aligned. Now, there is shadow and potential in everything. So there's a spectrum. But generally speaking, when you are at your best, you have the capacity to have a focus that can navigate challenging circumstances. This is a grounded energy to it. Now, the 58, this energy says that there is an aspect of you very much connected to vitality and wanting to experience, the full essence of life. Now, one of the shadows I'll say with the 58 here is that there can be a sensitivity to trying to be perfect or perfectionism with that in a shadow aspect that can sometimes be a challenge, but in its fullness, it's here. It's embodying and going through life and showing up. Now, the 17th, so this energy is very much connected to you, I would say, may be someone that is in your highest potential, able to really hear out different perspectives and opinions of different people, that you can be open to listening or weighing what other perspectives may or may not be. And that this is a gift that you have that can help you in communication and reaching and coming up with resolutions or things. It's the ability to kind of be open and process different opinions, kind of sifting through things in that sense. And then the 18 energy is very much connected to a sensitivity to authority, I would say, for one. So this is in its highest potential, says you're able to probably kind of call people out on their BS, or know when someone's not being genuine or authentic, that you can. I'm getting my book here because I think I might also just read a couple pieces from you since I have it. But you can basically sense when someone is authentic and able to lead and be trustworthy. Okay, so if you summarize or bring them all together, basically you would take the study of all of these gates and then put it together. Now, if you had a specific reading with me where I'm connecting to your energy specifically, I could probably do better at giving you my own guidance from your guides of what that is. But I'm going to just read a couple things here out of this book. Okay, so this book is the Book of Destinies. And so it says your purpose in life is to provide service for the betterment of society. Your cool, logical assessment of situations that need improving is a much sought after gift. You may have a tendency to indulge in seeing only problems and to become overly critical, therefore losing the support you need to implement necessary improvements. You can be tempted to launch yourself into a role where you constantly deplete your energies in unsatisfying efforts. Be clear in this one thing, and you will have monumentous understanding about your life. Service is your way, and your type and authority inform you as to when and how to apply it. This will help you realize that the act of service is not something personal, but it is about improving the world. Okay, so generally speaking, I would say, looking at it from this perspective, what I would say is, I would say 52 says you are someone that is capable of processing in challenging situations. 58 says you are someone that is willing to kind of show up to trust or engage with life. You can sense when things need to be shifted. The 17 is you can hear different opinions and weigh and measure and come to conclusions. The 18 is you also have a sensitivity to who's in charge. So when you're looking at this, I would say that at your highest potential, you have a great capacity to kind of not only sense where people's energies are, who would be appropriate fits for leadership, the ability to problem solve in challenging situations, to hear things out and implement, take risk, or play with life, engage with life in ways that allowed you to offer solutions, to offer perspectives, to have an energy that is very much in assistance to various circumstances. So that's kind of the gist of what I would say for that. Like an intuitive counselor. Yes, that would work. Oh, yes. And I love that you have strong Andromeda vibes. Yes, because Andromeda energy is also very adaptable too. And they're also very gifted in seeing different perspectives. So that's really cool. So awesome. Yay. All right. That was fun. Good questions. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, this was enjoyable. I thank you so much for showing up. And like I said, I'm going to be doing this again either next Sunday or the following, but keep an eye out. And in the meantime, if you do want to connect with me to explore anything deeper, definitely check out my site, check out my work. I would love the opportunity to work with you. So, all right, I'm going to say good night. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your whatever, whenever you're watching. Thank you so much. Bye.